The long and difficult custody battle between Shari and Martell Holt has finally reached a turning point. After months of speculation, legal filings, and emotional tension, the court has spoken, and this time, the decision firmly favors Melody. According to court documents filed in Madison County, Alabama, Shari Rogers, formerly known as Melody Holt, has officially been awarded sole physical custody of the 4 children she shares with Martell Holt. This comes after the court reviewed both parties' conduct, examined the evidence, and ultimately decided that the previous joint custody arrangement was no longer in the best interest of the children. This case has been ongoing since their divorce and has seen multiple motions, hearings, and allegations from both sides. But what truly stood out in this latest ruling was the fact that Martell Holt did not appear for the trial. The court records clearly note that Melody appeared in person with her attorney, while Martell's attorney attended without his client. This was a critical mistake. The judge had already set this trial date, and both parties were expected to appear. However, Martell reportedly chose to skip the court hearing to film for the Love and Marriage, Huntsville, reunion. That decision, intentional or not, sent a strong message to the court about his priorities, and it may have cost him dearly. From the start of this trial, the judge emphasized one main goal: to determine what arrangements served the best interest of the children. The court reviewed all previous agreements, including the joint custody order from 2021, and compared it to the current state of the parents' relationship, their ability to co-parent, and the level of conflict between them. After considering testimony, evidence, and the overall situation, the judge concluded that continuing the previous joint custody setup was no longer beneficial for the children. The court made it clear that the environment had become too unstable and that a change was needed. Under this new ruling, Melody was granted sole physical custody, which means the children will primarily live with her. She is now the parent responsible for their daily routines, schooling, and overall well-being. Martell, on the other hand, has been given secondary custodial rights, which follow a standard visitation schedule set by the court. It's a significant shift from the shared physical custody they once had, and it highlights that the judge believes the children need more stability, something Melody can better provide at this stage. Now, it's important to understand what sole physical custody means versus joint legal custody. While both parents will still share joint legal custody, meaning they both can have input in major decisions like education, medical care, and religion, Melody will have final say on the daily and physical aspects of their children's lives. The court specifically emphasized that joint legal custody does not automatically mean equal time or equal control. In this case, Melody's role as the primary custodian gives her the authority to make decisions on immediate matters, while Martell's participation will come into play when larger issues arise that require mutual consent. However, Martell's absence from the trial worked against him heavily. The judge's ruling even mentioned that his attorney was present, but he was not, signaling to the court that he may not have been fully committed to defending his position or presenting evidence in his favor. According to the record, Martell attempted to request a continuance just 3 days before the trial, which the court denied. This last-minute request was seen as a delay tactic rather than a genuine scheduling conflict. In a case involving custody of 4 minor children, courts take absence very seriously. Failing to show up when the children's future is being decided is something most judges do not overlook. The order issued by the court is lengthy and detailed, laying out every term of the new custody arrangement. One of the key points states that the prior joint custody schedule was no longer in the best interest of the children. This statement alone carries weight because it shows that the judge recognized the ongoing tension, disputes, and inconsistencies in the co-parenting dynamic. For years, Melody and Martell's disagreements played out both on television and in real life. From allegations of disrespect to public arguments, the level of conflict between them has been evident. The court likely took notice of that pattern and concluded that the children needed a more peaceful and consistent environment. The ruling also attached a standard visitation and parenting schedule, which is typically used in Alabama courts when one parent is granted primary custody. According to that schedule, Martell will have visitation on the first and third weekends of every month, from Friday afternoon until Monday morning. He will also have certain holiday and summer visitation periods, but these will be more limited than before. The schedule ensures that the children still maintain a relationship with their father but under structured and predictable conditions. Another important section of the ruling relates to relocation. Many fans speculated that Melody would now be free to move to Atlanta with her children, given the custody change. However, the court included a specific clause referencing the Alabama Parent-Child Relationship Protection Act, which requires that either parent provide notice before relocating. This means that Melody cannot simply move out of state without following proper procedures and giving Martell formal notice. Even with sole physical custody, there are still legal limitations when it comes to relocation, particularly when the other parent retains visitation rights. The order also placed restrictions on the children's public appearances. It explicitly states that the minor children shall not participate in any television productions or social media projects for gain or profit without court approval. This is a significant clause, especially considering that both parents are public figures on a reality TV show. The judge likely wanted to protect the children from the emotional toll of being exposed to the ongoing public conflict between their parents. This restriction ensures that their lives remain as private and shielded as possible, despite their parents' fame. Financially, the order did not include a child support award. The court explained that no financial information had been provided to calculate it. This could change later if either party decides to revisit the issue, but for now, both parents are expected to manage their children's expenses as previously arranged. However, the court did require Melody to pay the guardian ad litem fee, a standard expense associated with custody cases when a neutral third party represents the best interests of the children. One practical but very important part of the ruling is the requirement that both parents communicate only through the My Family Wizard app. This is a co-parenting communication tool used in high-conflict custody cases. It allows parents to message, share schedules, and document communication in a controlled, monitored environment. This provision was likely added to reduce direct contact between Melody and Martell, minimizing arguments and ensuring that all communication remains civil and traceable. The court's decision to include this clause shows an awareness of the tension between the two and an effort to prevent further drama. Another critical provision in the order is the right of first refusal. This means that if either parent cannot care for the children during their assigned custody time, they must first offer that time to the other parent before arranging childcare with someone else. For example, if Martell has the children for the weekend but has to leave town or has another commitment, he must first ask Melody if she wants to keep the children during that time. Only if she declines can he arrange for someone else, like a relative, to watch them. This clause ensures that the children spend more time with their parents rather than with third parties. The order further outlines boundaries for behavior and communication between the parents. It states that neither parent should disparage the other in front of the children or allow others to do so. This is a standard but vital rule in custody cases. Given the history of public tension between Melody and Martell, this clause reinforces the expectation that the children be kept out of the parents' disputes. The judge specifically emphasized that both parents must encourage their children to love and respect the other parent and not attempt to alienate them in any way. Additionally, the court included a moral conduct clause, which restricts both parents from having romantic partners spend the night while the children are present. This is common in Alabama custody rulings and is intended to maintain stability in the children's environment. The order also bars either parent from using illegal substances or being impaired by alcohol or drugs while the children are in their care. This is another measure to protect the children's safety and well-being. The ruling also addressed school matters. It designated Melody's address as the primary residence for school enrollment purposes. This means the children will attend school in the district where Melody resides, and she will handle most of the educational responsibilities. Martell will still have access to all school and medical records, as both parents retain joint legal custody, but Melody's residence now serves as the legal home base for the children's schooling. The order also touched on how the parents must handle vacations and travel. Each parent is allowed to take the children on vacation for up to 10 consecutive days, provided they notify the other parent in advance. Both must also notify each other when traveling out of town or state with the children during their respective custody times. This clause ties back to the right of first refusal rule, ensuring both parents are kept informed about the children's whereabouts at all times. Looking deeper at the parenting clauses, the court stressed that both parents must maintain reasonable telephone contact with the children when they are in the care of the other. The judge noted that if a conflict arises regarding phone time, the parents must agree on a 1-hour window for calls, typically between 7 and 8 p.m. This might seem like a small detail, but in high-conflict cases like this one, even phone access can become a source of tension. The court set these limits to create structure and avoid unnecessary disputes. One of the most telling parts of this entire document is the tone. The judge made repeated references to the importance of shielding the children from parental conflict. The order specifically warns against making the children feel responsible for the divorce or the ongoing disputes. It directs both Melody and Martell to act in ways that help the children grow up emotionally healthy and secure, despite their parents' separation. The judge's language in this section reflects an understanding of the emotional toll that public custody battles can have on children, especially when those battles are played out on reality television. Beyond the specifics, this ruling represents a broader legal and emotional victory for Melody. For years, she has been portrayed as a mother fighting to protect her peace and stability while navigating an increasingly strained co-parenting relationship. The court's decision to grant her sole physical custody reinforces that the judge saw her as the more consistent and reliable parent in this situation. It also highlights the court's concern about the children's exposure to ongoing conflict. For Martell, the outcome is a clear warning. Failing to appear in court and prioritizing other commitments over the hearing did not reflect well on him. In custody cases, judges expect both parents to demonstrate seriousness and accountability. His absence sent the opposite message. Whether intentional or not, it may have confirmed the court's doubts about his commitment to maintaining stability for the children. The absence of a child support order may surprise some, but it's not unusual in cases where both parents have comparable incomes or when financial documentation hasn't been provided. However, that part of the ruling can always be revisited in the future. If Melody believes that Martell should contribute more toward the children's expenses, she can file a motion to modify the financial terms later on. As for the restriction on the children's participation in television or social media for profit, that may have long-term implications for both parents' public images. The judge's inclusion of that clause suggests a desire to protect the children's privacy, especially considering how much of their lives have already been broadcast. This means the children will likely not appear on Love and Marriage, Huntsville, unless the court grants explicit permission. The order ends with a statement that all previous court orders not modified by this decree remain in full force and effect. This means any earlier provisions about property, finances, or communication still stand unless specifically changed in this new judgment. In summary, this ruling changes the entire dynamic between Melody and Martell. Melody is now the parent with full day-to-day control, stability, and decision-making power over where the children live and how they are raised. Martell, while still involved, now operates within a more limited and structured framework. The court made it clear that the children's best interests come first, and in this case, that means giving them one consistent, secure home under Melody's care. For fans who have followed this journey, it's a moment of closure and vindication for Melody. Her persistence, patience, and willingness to fight for her children's well-being have paid off. But more importantly, this decision marks a chance for peace, an opportunity to move forward without the constant legal and emotional tug-of-war. The court's ruling serves as both a legal judgment and a moral statement, that children deserve stability, not chaos, and that when one parent consistently shows commitment, the law takes notice. As the dust settles, this case will likely be remembered not only for the courtroom drama but also for what it symbolizes. Melody Shari's victory reflects the power of patience and the importance of putting the children first. The detailed and deliberate wording of this ruling shows that the court carefully considered every aspect before reaching its conclusion. Melody now stands as the sole physical custodian of her children, and with that comes both responsibility and relief.